one take me.
Are we friends?
I think we should spend our time just trying to survive this shit.
If we do this, we'll be heroes forever.
Hey, I'm Jonathan.
I'm John.
And we're here to introduce the new Netflix action movie with Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, Bright. Now, Bright follows Will Smith. He's a cop, and then Joel Edgerton is the first orc cop in this fantasy version of modern-day Los Angeles.
Yeah, this movie basically combines elements of a modern cop movie in Los Angeles with a fantasy movie with orcs and fairies and elves and stuff.
Now, of course, David Ayer's last effort was Suicide Squad, and that was a very mixed bag of a film. Regardless of how you feel about it, the movie itself was not that great.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I saw a lot of the same issues. However, I do think this was a better film than Suicide Squad was, in my opinion.
Maybe.
So let's just go and jump into the performances real quick.
Yeah.
Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, I thought, were really good.
Yeah.
For sure, they're...
They definitely have some chemistry here.
Oh yeah, the chemistry worked. It was awkward chemistry, but like the good kind of awkward chemistry.
Yeah, they're not really friends in this movie.
Right.
But their interactions are definitely interesting because the whole point of this movie is that there's a lot of tension in the city between the species. A lot of very ham-fisted analogies to racism going on here, but they kind of play off of that element pretty well in some scenes.
For sure, and I thought that Suicide Squad was actually a little bit better at this because at least had at least 6 interesting core characters to kind of play around with. This literally was just Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, and besides that, everyone else just got shafted. You didn't really care. There was some investigator elf.
Yeah, those are the only 2 characters you care about even a little.
Right. Now, the script is also kind of uneven. It does have its moments where it's, oh, that's funny, but there are a few jokes that just kind of fall flat every now and then.
I think the script is the worst part of this movie.
There's a phrase in the movie where Will Smith is running up the stairs and they need backup, and Joel Edgerton's like, hey, we need to wait for the cavalry, and he's like, we are the cavalry, and I'm like, you're kidding me, you just put that in. Congratulations.
Yeah, there's a lot of very corny humor too. Honestly though, my biggest problem with this movie is that I feel like it has a cool concept that kind of wastes.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Because the concept is really cool, this idea of having like a modern LA not buddy cop movie, but cop movie with fantasy elements, and it kind of establishes that coolness in that world and goes more into that for maybe the first half hour, but then kind of just becomes a pretty basic fantasy movie.
The movie becomes like Suicide Squad, just escorting a person from point A to point B.
It kind of loses most of the interesting stuff it established in the beginning and just becomes, okay, we have to go on a quest.
Unfortunately, by the time things actually really kicked up and got interesting, I didn't really care anymore. And I was just kind of waiting for the movie. All right, let's see some interesting things. Well, the one thing I will say this movie got right is its style and its action. Its action's very gritty. It feels grounded, especially, which is kind of hard to nail when you're doing fantasy films with orcs and shit.
That's a fact.
And I thought that everything just felt impactful. The movie also had really good style overall. I liked the gritty LA fantasy world. Yeah. I really liked the soundtrack for this film, which was basically just a bunch of alternative rappers, which it was great.
Yeah.
I think I might save a few on my Spotify. No product placement intended.
The visuals were great, honestly.
Oh yeah,
everything
for sure.
looks awesome in this movie, and the action scenes, I'm completely with you. Those were the highlight for me. Those all really had me.
So John, all that being said, what are you going to give Bright?
I'm honestly not crazy about Bright. I had fun watching it for sure, but there's just too many problems in this movie. It has a really good core idea that it kind of wastes. I would have loved to see more of, what a modern world is like that has orcs and fairies and elves and magic in it. But it kind of just gave me a basic fantasy movie after all. There was some cool action, there was some cool scenes, Will Smith and Joel Edgerton definitely do their thing.
Of course,
but
as always.
Overall, I can't really recommend Bright, so I'm going to give it maybe 2.5 out of 5 stars. What do you think, Jonathan?
John, I think I liked it a little bit more than you did. I was at least entertained by the film. I was really impressed by its visual style. Its set pieces were cool. The visuals were great. Although its story and its script were definitely lacking. I'm going to go ahead and give Bright. I thought I would... Right after I saw the movie, I'm like, okay, this is 3 out of 5. I really thought about it, and it didn't help that I saw much greater films over the holiday season. So, of course, I'm going to bump that down. I'm going to give Bright a 3 out of 5 stars. So, guys, how'd you like the review? I know it's been a while since we've been, kicking out consistent reviews, but hopefully that trend will continue for a little bit. You can also buy our merch at cafepress.com/stubmasters. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to our great channel if you haven't already done so. If you're still hanging around after 4 years, God help you. I'm sorry.
God help you. You have horrible taste in YouTube videos.
But anyways, guys, we'll have a lot of reviews coming out, so please go ahead and just keep us
Stay
on your
tuned.
radar. All right, guys, have a great day.
I'm John.
I'm Jonathan. We need to stop doing that shit. You know what? I'm not cutting this out right.